What's up, everybody? Well, the one guy that watched my last video. I assume it's a guy because I don't think anyone else is just gonna accidentally stumble upon that unless you're looking for something similar. Anyway, my wife broke her diffuser for her blow dryer, and so I decided I'll fix it. So I jump into Creo. Just important reminder: set your units. Um, so the idea here is to design an adapter from the diffuser to the blow dryer. It's pretty easy. It would just be a male and female end kind of adapter. One fits into the diffuser as a male end, so it'll fit into the female side of the adapter, and then the adapter will have a male end that fits into the blow dryer. And so here I start with basic diameters, measuring along the way, so it took a long time. Mind you, I'm not that strong at Creo. I do give it a shot, but SolidWorks is usually my go-to, but I don't have that, so Creo it is. And I'm not a big fan of Fusion 360. They save everything to the cloud, and not not my strong suit to use that software. It's a little finicky for me. Anyway, here we go. So I'm trying to make those nubs. As you can see, I kind of stumbled through this because I'm not quite sure how to approach it. I know it needs to be kind of curved at a similar arc as the diameter of this, but it just kind of baffles me at first. I take a bunch of measurements, um, finally get back into it. They don't stick out very much, so there's not a lot of grabbing force, and there's not a lot of give in either the diffuser side or the blow dryer side. So I gotta get it kind of almost exact. Um, so here I'm obviously struggling to figure out how to approach this problem. As you saw earlier, I kind of made some lines to get the general shape, and I think I'm going to approach that again, but in my head, I was like, oh, there has to be an easier way, but I think you just got to rough it. So changing that outside diameter to give me the kind of sprawl of those little prongs that stick out. Going back to the line method, each one's about 11 millimeters long. I'm going to cut all the excess off, get this kind of general shape. If you don't know what you're doing, if you just wiggle the mouse a lot, it just makes it seem like you know what you're doing. So that's what I'm doing here. A lot of faking it. So we're getting the general shape. Both edges are kind of slanted. One's more so than the other. That's what's going on here. See the idea. This shape's pretty good. It's generally not too bad. Now I'm gonna extrude this out. Get them to the right thickness. They're not very thick either. That's kind of an issue when you're 3D printing something. You kind of want something substantial. So going back, make sure you name all your different features. I don't normally do this, and so I didn't quite know how. Just no Creo, no spaces. Finally got that sorted. Going back to trying to figure out how to pattern this. So there needs to be 3 little nubs, and I'm trying to get a good axis so that I can create that pattern. One of the things, unfortunately, I was struggled with is there needs to be 3 of them spaced around a circle, 360 degrees. I don't know why, but in my head I couldn't figure out space them 120 degrees, so I had to cut out a lot of space here. See, but I eventually get it. There you go, 120. Got those 3 nubs. That's gonna work out. Yeah, but they're a little square. On the actual pieces that I'm trying to adapt to, there's a heavy chamfer along the top and along these little prongs. So I create that here. But as I went back and measured, there's actually not much material there. So as it fits in a groove, kind of tough to get that right. So just one little last look over. It's always fun to spin these around. Yep, spin, spin. Now we're going to export that. Get it into Bamboo Labs. Start with our first prototype. I like a lot of triangles. Sometimes just the radius or the circular circularity. I don't know, whatever that word is. Comes out better if you have a lot more triangles. Oh yeah, don't update now. All right. So find the part, bring it in. For some reason, the one thing I don't like about uh, Bamboo Labs too much is oftentimes if I download a model, it'll just keep it at the old settings, and you have to reset everything, tell it where to get from, what kind of plate you're using. And a lot of time I'm overwriting my filaments all the time because it just doesn't want to load in right. Anyway, here we go. We're going to start that print, and we're back to designing. So that one failed pretty dramatically. It was a little too small in all directions. So we're going to come in here and kind of bump things out. I also try to tolerance while I'm going. I don't actually know what my printer's capable of. I just kind of wing it. I should do a calibration study eventually, but here we are. I messed with some diameters, which screwed up everything else. So we're going back. And as I made the diameter larger, our little prongs got smaller, so I got to adjust those back. And there it is. We're going to kick this out a little bit. Just give it a little more, little girth. Get a little girthy. Yeah, I decided to change the angles there just to make them not so steep on that one. That looks pretty good. And so what I'm doing here is just double checking everything, wiggling that mouse, make it look like I'm doing stuff. I'm trying to find something. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for here. I need to, what am I doing here? Oh, okay. Downsizing again. Maybe got a little too much there. Yep, wiggle it around. I think it's looking fairly decent. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to try to build the female side of this. And so I got to build up a little thickness. So I'm going to create a diameter eventually. There it is. Create a little thicker diameter. Give me some room to work with. This is the kind of more of the adapter part. This will be the female end that actually hooks up to the diffuser. As I'm adjusting this, trying to get the diameters right, want it to overlap, not be too thick that it's kind of cumbersome. So I decided to do that. We're just going to thicken that space up. And the next job we're doing, this actually has a groove cut out in the middle. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get that done. Here we go. We're going to try to create a plane that's offset the measurement we need so that when we do our groove, we could cut in that material without having it do anything too crazy. So there's our plane. It's at the distance we need. There's our cut, and that's what we're trying to do. See that little groove? That's where the little prongs are going to sit in on the diffuser side. Here we go. I get a little lost. Oh no, click out, back in, whatever. Yep, can't quite figure it out. There's one trick you can do here, and that's if you cut symmetrically. Oh, there it is. Do a symmetrical cut. Get it just right. Now that needs to be chamfered just to help those little prongs slide over. So far we're looking good. We're going to extrude. Going to give it another test print. Plenty of triangles. Oh yeah, lots of triangles. Back to Bamboo Labs. Find the part. Yep, and of course it failed. So we're back in Creo to do some more fine tuning. Our groove wasn't too far off. I think that'll be fine. But the one thing we need to do is increase those diameters a bit. We need to add a little bit more. But one of the other features this thing has, there's little grooves cut in the top portion into the male side. So I'm trying to figure out how to do the grooves right on the edge. The idea here is you cut one groove and then you pattern it around the 360 degrees, but I can't quite get the combination of planes to give me what I need. So eventually I'll get it. I think the easiest way to do this is if you just offset the plane, push it to the edge right where you need it. And so I need to come up with like an orthogonal plane and then offset that plane right to the outside, get it lined up pretty close to that outside edge. And I think I'm tweaking a little bit too much. And that looks about right. Now we have our plane. The idea here is if the plane isn't directly lined up, you can just cut deeper, and it usually works. So there we go. We got our general shape. These are kind of rectangular, but we want to radius those inside corners. Just add a little more stability. We don't want to have a straight edge there. It's more susceptible to break off. So initially I do that, and then I'm gonna fillet the outside. But when I actually looked at the part, I realized, oh, the fillet is on the inside. So I go back in, fix that. They're actually pretty big fillet. I didn't have anything to measure these accurately with, so I took a guess. Thought that looked pretty good. There we go, our first cut. Now the idea is to pattern that around the same axis we did earlier. We're going to do 3 of them, and this time I got the degrees right, 120. Yeah, there it is. There we go. We got those little relief cuts. Should add a little bit of movement there. We're going to export this to Bamboo Labs. Oh, last minute diameter change, tying things up. Actually, I think I'm loosening them up. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, flip it around, shake your mouse. We're going to do a 3MF this time. Yeah, naming convention is important. A lot of the time I'll do V1, V2, V3, but in this case I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Remember, plenty of triangles. Back to Bamboo Labs, where we are going to slice this. So find your file, throw it in. Here, run into a little issue. Can't find my printer. So I'm clicking random stuff, trying to figure out the right buttons. Yeah, we'll get back to it though. Oh, there it is. Finally got it figured out. We're gonna throw this on, do a little time lapse. And boom, printing. Look at that, beautiful. And it's all done. Alright, so we're gonna test fit it. As you can see, this pops off pretty easy. Here's our adapter, our final version. Pops into that perfectly, nice and tight. We still want that removable though. The part that we want it to stay on is the diffuser. That's the broken piece. So here we go, attempt to put it on. The diffuser, it's still a little tight. I could probably mess with the tolerances a little bit, but another issue is kind of there. The material I used ASA, and it just didn't hold up too well to being like crammed onto the diffuser or to hold on to the blow dryer itself. So it clips on nice, everything's good, but it pops off so easy. So this was a extreme fail.